All right, so good evening, everyone. We are the Sisters of the Bride. I'm Megan, I'm the older sister, and this is Maya, the younger one. So to kick us off, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. So in the beginning, there was just me. Then Katrina entered the world. Can you feel the conflict brewing already? I'm joking. At least in the beginning, Katrina was quite content to follow my instructions without complaint. We would dance around the living room and put shows on for our parents. We organized relay races in the backyard, hosted princess balls, and played endless amounts of Little House on the Prairie. I organized and instructed, and Katrina was content to let me do that for the most part. It wasn't until she got a little older that she realized I wasn't entitled to any position of authority at all. Now that was annoying. In high school, our most intense argument occurred because of the shower. I'm sure many other siblings can relate. Our parents had this rule that we had to be done showering by 10:30 at night. So of course, we both wanted to shower at the last minute. It could get a little messy. Thank goodness that won't be an issue living with Simon. Katrina, you and I do not have similar personalities at all. But it is in the areas that we are different where we complement each other most. I've tried my best to be a big sister, being the trial and error so you don't have to, helping you get your first job and attempting to help you get comfortable calling people on the phone. You've taught me that it is possible to be successful and have fun at the same time, and that you don't always need to have a plan for everything. Except this wedding. This was very well planned. The way you maintain meaningful long-term friendships is inspiring, even if it's partially because you don't like talking to strangers. Growing up with you as my sister was such an adventure, but I'm also excited for you to embark on this new one with Simon.
Being the littlest sister in the Flute family meant that sometimes I got spoiled by Mom and Dad. This was dutifully kept in check by Megan and Katrina, who did not cut me any slack, despite being 3 or 5 years younger than them. Being the littlest also meant that I got to follow in my big sister's footsteps. I don't think I truly had a personality for a while, because I just copied everything Megan and Katrina did. Katrina, I have you to thank for my sense of style, my incredible Mario Kart skills, the books I read, and my general tendency to be a pushover and do whatever you tell me to. I missed my big sister a lot when she went to university. We had just spent a year in high school together, where I dare say we bonded, and then she was suddenly gone. Around Thanksgiving of her first year, I was quite excited to hear that Katrina was coming home for dinner. And I was even more excited to hear that she was coming home with a boy. Well, 2 boys. We had a lovely beef lasagna dinner, getting to know Simon and Owen. Poor Simon. But to be honest, we mostly got to know Owen. Simon was really quiet that night. When it was time for the boys to return to Greyville, I went with Katrina to drop them off. On the ride back, they both wanted to listen to country music, bonus points in my book, and upon return to Greyville, one of them played some guitar for us. It was then that I knew one of these boys was perfect for Katrina. I told Trina she should date Owen on the car ride home that night. Oops. Fast forward to January, and I get a very funny Snapchat video from Katrina telling me her and Simon had started dating. I had forgotten about Owen at this point, and I was excited to hear that Trina had finally had a real boyfriend. Simon, despite what I first thought of you, you definitely are the perfect one for Katrina. Simon has gotten a lot of quality time with our family over the years, especially when he ended up staying with us through some of COVID. He spent so much time with us that he shows up in half of my stories, and all of my friends know who he is. Growing up, I always wanted a big brother. And now when people ask me if I wish I had a brother, I always respond to the same thing. I've got Simon. Simon, you have basically been my brother since you started coming around. And I'm so very excited to be able to officially call you my brother for real today. And it's about time. Katrina says you've already mastered the perfect brother-sister dynamic. Thank you for playing games with me, throwing a disc with me, hanging out with me, and saving you when the van broke down. Katrina and Simon, you are wonderful for each other. You pull from each other's strengths and help with each other's weaknesses. You are an incredible example of what relationships should be, and we are so blessed to be able to call you our family.
I feel equally as blessed to be able to call you family, Simon, and I'll expand on that a bit more. Your introduction to this family was not the most normal. You single-handedly renamed the room we called the fish room to Simon's room. From the beginning, you were very involved in our family. It was weird for me, especially that first summer. Every time we would make family plans, Katrina would say, "Can Simon come?" Or "Simon's coming too." And I would think, will we ever do anything with just our family again? The funny thing is, just our family started to include Simon pretty soon. I'm much more excited than irritated now when I know Simon will be there, because he's actually a pretty good time. When Simon's there, it feels like a party, and we play more sports than we used to. One time, I actually saw Katrina put down her book and pick up a frisbee at a family picnic. It was shocking. Simon is the exact person that this family needed. The five of us are high-strung, dramatic, and extremely expressive with our opinions. Simon is calm and rational, and at first he was not at all familiar with the dynamic of our family conflict. Simon used to get uncomfortable when our family would have disagreements because he thought we were angry or fighting. We do have fights, but these types of arguments were actually good-natured, and I think it took some getting used to. Simon and Katrina, you two are meant for each other. You encourage each other to be and do your best. You both serve each other where you need it most. You complain only on occasion, and you frequently tell each other how much you appreciate them. You are already set up for a long and happy marriage. I'm so lucky to be related to such a wonderful couple. Here's to a lifetime of family reunions that will continue to be a party. I'll close by bringing up a fun fact. Katrina was born in the year 2000. Of course, we all knew that. But did you know that in 2000, Enya released an album called A Day Without Rain? This is the album we used to dance around the living room to in our princess dresses and fall asleep to in the car on the way home from one holiday dinner or another. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. But Katrina, these are some of the sweetest childhood memories that we share. And the song Wild Child always makes me think of you. So let the rain fall down everywhere around you. Give in to it now, let the days surround you. You don't need a reason, let the rain go on and on. And the meaning of these lyrics is to encourage you to keep living as freely and in the moment as you do. Let the day go by, enjoy the falling rain, and just be a wild child. It's a good thing Simon is responsible.
To the happy couple, congratulations. We love you guys so much.
So we'd like to invite the best man, Max, Simon's older brother, to do his speech, followed by Megan and Maya for their sibling speeches.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'm Max, and it is my great pleasure to share with you here at my brother's wedding. We grew up together in Nova Scotia, moved to Kenya and then Qatar, and then he moved to Vietnam with our parents, as I moved back to Canada for university. Even getting married in the same summer, we have truly gone together in all things. As little kids, we were often mistaken for twins because we looked so much alike. Unfortunately for me though, Simon continued to grow after I stopped. Simon has always been my best friend. He is a good listener and my confidant. We shared a bedroom until I went off to university together, and after lying in bed at night, I would start talking to him about my day and what was on my mind, and he would sometimes tease me about it, but ultimately I think it made us closer. Moving around so much, our family was the only constant, and the shared experiences made me and Simon inseparable. I'm thankful to our parents for the ways that they raised us and encouraged our friendship to grow. It's so nice to see that Katrina comes from a close-knit, adventurous family as well. Thank you to the Flutes for already being great in-laws for Simon and in-laws to Maddie and me. In order to narrow down our lifetime of stories, I'm going to share with you from 3 themes that remind me of Simon and that highlight how deeply I appreciate our friendship and our brotherhood. The first being sports. We share a special connection when we play sports together. In high school, we played a lot of basketball and swam together and always had so much fun. Mom has told me how after I went to university, when Simon would play basketball, she could tell he was looking for me on the court, but I wasn't there. I was saddened to be on different continents for those 2 years, and I'm now immensely grateful to be living in the same city again. Recently, it has been a joy to play Ultimate Frisbee together on the same team this summer. Katrina was our biggest fan. Our teammates joked that we had an unfair advantage with our brotherly connection. No matter what new sports we try, I know that I always want to be on your team. The second theme is nature. Simon loves the outdoors, and that's why he pursued his degree and now his career in environmental conservation. Simon shared with me his wealth of nature knowledge when we went on a grad trip a few months ago. We flew to Edmonton and then took the train to Vancouver. We did lots of hiking along the way, often with some running thrown in because we did not have quite enough time, or we were a bit too ambitious. On these hikes, he would tell me the names of all the trees and the animals that we saw, and now I can finally remember the difference between a coniferous and a deciduous tree. For his bachelor party a month ago, we rented a cottage on a lake for a weekend, and within a matter of minutes after arriving there, we ran to the dock and caught a turtle out of the water. We were all impressed, and we were talking about it last night. The third theme is travel. 2 years ago, Simon, Katrina, Maddie, and I traveled to PEI together as part of a trip to Nova Scotia. We had a blast road tripping and going to Annapurna Gables, North Rustico Beach, and exploring Charlottetown. It's so much fun traveling with the two of them. They're clearly best friends and well suited for each other, and they make each other happy. Sports, nature, and travel are important parts of Simon's life, and parts that Katrina complements well. Though the East Coast trip gave me lots of insight into Simon and Katrina's relationship, I had already witnessed their love many a time before that. My first memory of Katrina is when Simon asked me to help unlock her bike late at night at Grable because there was a skunk about 3 feet away from the bicycle. In hindsight, I'm not sure why I said yes, or why Simon didn't do it himself. But I got down on the ground very close to the skunk and unlocked her bike. I did not get sprayed, thankfully. I saw then that Simon would do almost anything for this girl. And I waited with anticipation to see where their relationship would go. Before we know it, Simon, Katrina, Maddie, and I are a group of 4, sharing meals together for birthdays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, camping together, and setting annual goals together. For me and Maddie, a continued close friendship with you both, filling our lives with fun, would be a dream come true. Katrina is kind, lighthearted, intelligent, caring, and the ultimate partner for Simon. There is no one else I'd willingly lose my title of Simon's best friend to other than you. I feel as a married man of 10, almost 11 weeks, I should give some marriage advice. They've been asking for it all weekend, but I'm like, I have so little, I have to save it for my speech. Continue to find new things to do together, and things that you both enjoy, and push you outside of your comfort zones. Be gracious with one another, and support your partner when they are having a hard day, because they will do the same for you. And lastly, remember to draw near to Jesus as you draw near to each other. As kids, I often looked up to you, Simon, and thought you were cooler than me. I am so thankful that you were my best man, and that I get to be your best man this summer. As Dad would say, that's pretty cool. I'm so happy to be here celebrating your marriage today. I love you and I am proud of you. I want to end on a favorite quote of mine from Simon's Skybunk bio. Skybunk was an app used at Grable, and part of his bio was, but does she have a tick love for the environment? It's great to see that you both have a tick love for the environment, and an even ticker love for each other. Maddie and I love you both so, so much. We're so excited, Katrina, to have you join the family and to become close friends as Simon and I have been for all these years. Thank you very much. Cheers to the happy couple.
Hi everyone. It's so great to see you all here to share Katrina and Simon's very special day, and what a beautiful day it's been.
Katrina was a fun-loving child from the start, with a great big grin and crazy ringlets. As a toddler, she was always busy playing. One of her favorite activities was gathering random toys and packing them into pails, bins, and purses, and bringing them somewhere else in the house. By the end of the day, all of the family room toys were upstairs in the living room, and the upstairs toys were all in the basement. We sure got our exercise, but it was time to put everything back in its proper place.
She didn't know what happened to her world when another little sister came along, but she quickly got used to it and enjoyed being able to boss someone around. It was great growing up with built-in playmates. One of the biggest things the girls loved to do was dance to worship songs or Raffi music, wearing their fancy dresses and twirling and whirling until someone fell over. You may even see one of their routines later tonight on the dance floor.
Since we had 3 girls, we acquired an extensive wardrobe of dress-up clothes and props, and our girls used their imaginations to play house, school, and horses. Katrina loved and still loves camping and traveling. Some favorite memories include the girls making forts and nests in the bushes, Katrina getting blown across a lake in Algonquin on an inflatable unicorn, and the time she made us dinner from a recipe she found in a camping book. It was a bannock kobo pie combination that took hours to prepare and cook, although it was really good once we were finally able to eat it.
Katrina is a middle child and likes to fly under the radar. She likes to say she was the forgotten middle child, but I think she liked it that way. She did get out of many chores just by ignoring them and disappearing. Anyone who knows Katrina for a while knows that she loved to read books growing up. She loved story time in the afternoon and before bed. Her favorite thing to do was snuggle with us in her blankie while one of us read Snow White. I think she picked that book because it was the longest one in the rotation of books and significantly delayed her bedtime, which was generally the goal every night. Many times we would try to skip some pages or paragraphs, but she knew the book by heart and would have nothing to do with it. And she would even recite along word for word without knowing how to read yet.
Once Katrina discovered books, she was hooked. She devoured all the books she could get her hands on. This resulted in many late nights reading in bed. It also frustrated some of her teachers. If she was at a good part of a book, she would hide the book in her desk and keep reading while the lesson was being taught. The solution was to turn her desk around, and she had to store all her stuff in a cubby on the other side of the room. Thankfully, most teachers encouraged her and rewarded her love of reading. In grade 3, she read over 100 books, and her reward was getting to read a book to the principal. We also encouraged this love of reading, but often had to remove a book from under the covers that she had been reading after lights out. When she got older, spending time on her iPod or phone often replaced the books, leading to me having to figure out how to implement time restrictions for her devices on our router. Problem solved, although I think Katrina is still upset with me.
The first suggestion of Katrina's interest in planning career showed up with her love of the Sims computer game around grade 6. She spent hours designing houses and communities, and her games went on so long that her characters lived for many generations. When going through the desk recently, we found a paper with the genealogy of one of her Sims families mapped out. She also developed her online research skills through Sims and found the hacks to get free money and other bonuses. Her Sims skills came in handy too while planning her wedding when she made a 3D model of this beautiful venue and property and used it to figure out the table layout and where everything would be placed, and it worked really well.
We first met Simon at Thanksgiving during Katrina's first year at university. Katrina invited Simon and another young man whose families lived far away to our house for Thanksgiving dinner. Katrina insisted there was nothing going on and she was just being hospitable. When we helped Katrina move out of her apartment that December, Simon just happened to be there helping her pack up. But Katrina still insisted they were just friends. That changed in January, and as we got to know Simon, we appreciated how well he fit in with our family. We loved watching Katrina and Simon's relationship grow and develop into something really awesome, leading to this wonderful celebration today. In March of 2020, we suddenly got to know Simon a whole lot better. Simon ended up living in our basement and quarantining with our family through the start of the pandemic. There is no better way to get to know your girlfriend's family than being forced to live and work with them in the same house 24/7. He got a big upgrade from a mattress on a floor in a messy storage room to a mattress on a metal frame in a messy storage room. Thankfully, it all worked out, and we had some fun times with the 6 of us during the lockdown. Memories include playing board games, baking an isolation cake, and having a cocktail night.
Simon was my partner in designing projects to do around the house. From a privacy screen on the deck, and new deck stairs, to some lovely planter boxes on the patio that Katrina and Simon built from pallets. Simon would pull up some ideas on the computer and it would be exactly what I had been envisioning. We had fun with these things that kept us busy during COVID and beyond. It is just too bad we never designed a bathroom in the basement for Simon's use. And he always had to go up 2 flights of stairs to shower. This was particularly difficult when Simon worked construction and fell asleep on the stairs on his way to the shower after a long, hot day on the job.
Simon joined our family for many holidays, camping trips, vacations, and other events. He really enjoyed our camping trips, although I think he had a few sleepless nights initially when his tent was placed a fair distance from the other ones. He spent most of that lonely night hearing noises that sounded suspiciously like bears snooping around. Needless to say, the next time he set up his tent, it was a lot closer to everyone else.
Simon, We are so thankful that God led you across the world to University of Waterloo and to Okay, it has been a pleasure living with you and seeing Katrina grow in your relationship throughout the years. Katrina, it has been a privilege to see you grow into a loving, caring, beautiful, and talented young woman. Okay. We are thankful for the fun and laughter that you have brought to our family, for the transportation maps you made for us on our family road trips to the Smoky Mountains in Florida, and for all the animated after-dinner discussions, and for all your many contributions to our messy family life.
We are going to miss living with you both, but know you are not too far away. Take care of each other well, listen and encourage each other, and grow in your love for each other and God. He will be there with you along the way and guide your path. May you have a long and happy marriage filled with laughter, love, compassion, forgiveness, trust, and a sense of wonder at all the wonderful blessings and challenges life has in store for you both.
We love you.
And I am Timothy Chute.
And we are Simon's parents.
Today is not only the first day of Simon and Katrina's marriage to each other, we believe it is the union of two families, the Chutes and Seeligs and the Flutes and the Clauses.
So, by a show of hands, how many people here now are or were at one time Chutes? And how many people here now are or were at one time Seeligs? And how many people here now are or were at one time Clauses? And how many people here now are or were at one time Flutes?
Wow.
Okay, so all of these people, all of you, are now joined together as one big family. So Katrina is marrying into our family as much as she is marrying Simon. So we thought we should make sure she knows what she's walking into.
We are a family of Christian faith that goes back many generations. Every Sunday, great-granddad Fred Seelig walked all 8 of his children to a little white church in North Brookfield. Great-granddad Max Chute was the Sunday school superintendent. Our families have always been actively involved in the church. Katrina, please know that you will have lots of people praying daily for you and Simon.
We are a family that loves trees, and we have a love of wood and all things wood-crafted, like the candlesticks that you saw this afternoon. Our homes are full of handmade cutting boards, bowls, carved birds, tables, lamps. Granddad Carl Seelig was an industrial arts teacher, and he started carving when he retired 30 years ago. He still makes these comfort birds and shares them with people who are sick or grieving.
We are a family with an off-grid cabin in the backwoods of southwest Nova Scotia on a lake called Harmony. Katrina, there is no better place than to look at stars there.
We are a family that has a family logo inspired by that off-grid cabin, and we wear it proudly on matching jackets and shirts and shopping bags. This one is Simon's. Katrina, we are a family.
Katrina, we are a family that celebrates birthdays, but more importantly, we celebrate the 25th year of an outhouse.
We are a family that loves to educate others. This is not just through formal institutions, but also through small group Bible studies, English classes in a coffee shop, and the 10-year Chute family blog. Katrina, you can expect some personal teaching moments along the way.
We are a family that loves being at home in Nova Scotia, but we also are a family that loves international travel. Grammy Nildachut, my mother, in her senior years has traveled to Kenya, Qatar, Bolivia, China, Israel, and France. So keep your passport and a suitcase handy, Katrina.
We are a family that treasures antiques, old dishes, and the stories they tell. Many of us are now downsizing, so we are sharing these treasures with the next generation. Here is a Royal Albert silver birch teacup and saucer and cake plate. These were a gift to Don and Nilda Chute for their wedding in 1958. And this is one that Simon has asked for. So, Katrina, you are inheriting it, and a lot more to come. We are a family that loves a good dad joke.
I once wrote a song about a tortilla, but it was more of a rap. I once tried to get Lisa to get a hearing aid, but she wasn't listening.
We are thrilled that Simon is gaining a wonderful family. A family of faith and camping and traveling and board games and hospitality.
When Simon told us that he was thinking about marrying Katrina, the first thing we said was, she has a really great family. We owe a special thanks to the Flutes and the Clauses for caring for Simon while we lived overseas, especially during COVID. Where do you think Simon gets this from? Simon has gained another great set of parents.
We love you, Katrina. We have prayed for you since Simon was a young boy. We love you, Simon. We have prayed for you to have a life partner chosen by God. And today, we see how these prayers have been answered, and we look forward to many years of adventures together.
Welcome to our family.
Monday. Okay. In the area. See you, Jess. Yeah, you as well. All right. Take care. Yeah, see ya. See ya. Bye, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Can I get your attention for a little bit? We have a few things to say because we'd like you to, just so we're listening. We have a long list of thank yous to get through. Oh, yeah, everyone can have a seat, I suppose. That makes sense.
We're just going to give this little thank you speech, then we have our first dance, and we'll finally get to the dancing for the night.
Okay, so first off, what an amazing day we've had. Thank you all so much for coming. I know it took a lot of hard work to get here today, so naturally we have many, many thank yous to make, so bear with us as we get through them. First and foremost, I want to thank Katrina, my now wife. So I can confidently tell you that all of this planning for this wedding was a team effort. In a much more real sense, I can tell you that Katrina's back hurts from carrying this team. She put so much effort into every little detail about today, and she was so organized throughout the whole process. I have never seen someone make so many lists. We almost had lists of lists.
And I want to thank my now husband, Simon, for executing all of my ideas and plans for this wedding.
I deserve a cheer too.
It may be true that I did a little more of the work for the wedding, but there is no way any of this would have happened without Simon either. You are my workhorse and my call center, and the fact that you and Tim made all of these lanterns by hand is just crazy. I want to make a side note that the Chutes are kind of insane. You can just give them a task, and they'll come back to you an hour later with a perfectly executed vision just for you there. But Simon, you also kept my sanity intact, and for the most part, you were always a steady place for me to stay when it all got a bit much.
Next, we'd like to thank Quiet Earth, which includes Brent and Mary Ann, for providing this beautiful venue and for helping with the setup, sound, and being so amazing to coordinate with. We'd also like to thank Grace Frey from Gracie's Country Oven for providing the delicious meal today, and for all of the serving staff who have been here. I've heard many raving reviews that the mashed potatoes were plus. We'd like to thank our florist Sheila. She's not here right now, but she arranged such beautiful flowers and garlands on all of the tables and all the bouquets that all the bridal party had today. So thanks to Sheila. And then, of course, we have to thank our photographer, Karina, for capturing our day in photos. She did such an amazing job coordinating photo sessions today and before today and all of our engagement shoots, and just generally being so amazing to work with. So thank you, Karina. And our videographer, Emily, who I just told her, I literally didn't see her all day, so she must have been doing a good job of getting all the angles. But she helped record our ceremony and reception, and she's just been working in the background, so we really appreciate you, Emily.
We also want to thank everyone who helped make our ceremony today possible through the donation of their talents. Claire, Uncle Dan, Erica, and Tim for leading us in worship today. Maddie for spearheading the appetizers after the ceremony. Levi for running our ceremony music cues, and all the others who helped with setup and made sure the day ran smoothly.
And of course, we have to thank Andrew and Jill for being our MCs. Thank you for helping facilitate our reception and for being so much fun and for taking us on such a sick flight. I also want to say thank you to my groomsmen, for Max, Andrew, Nathan, David, and Michael. Thank you for standing with me today and for supporting me. Thank you for coming with me to Zabian so many times to get our wedding outfits in order. More importantly, thank you for supporting me through life. You have been amazing friends, housemates, roommates, bedmates, giggle partners, and more. I love you all.
And thank you to my bridal party, Megan, Maya, Jenna, Leah, and Gwen. Thank you for everything you've done through this year, from the dress shopping to my bachelorette party to everything that you did this weekend. But most importantly, thank you for being there for me all my life before this. There's a huge range, but from childhood fears to teenage angst and the pressures of adult life, you've all had a shoulder to lean on or an open ear to talk to. You've helped me through so much more than just my wedding day. I love you and I'm so grateful for each of you.
And to Mom and Dad, thank you for everything, for being such incredible role models of what a thriving, faith-based relationship looks like, for dragging me around the world and showing me all kinds of cool cultures and exposing me to new and exciting opportunities. Thank you for praying for me and for praying for us. Thank you for how you have been so generous with your time, your money, and your love. You have supported me through every life stage, even those years of my grumpy tweens, and you provided such a firm foundation and safe place for me always. I am so blessed to have you. And to Steve and Michelle, my other parents. Thank you for adopting me as a fourth child for the past 5 years. I literally wouldn't be here if you hadn't but so generously opened the doors of your home to me during the pandemic and for so many times after that, including up until 2 nights ago. You have supported me and us in so many ways, and we are so grateful to have you. I don't even know where you are. Hey, there you are.
Mom and Dad, thank you for everything that you have ever done for me. Although it's very apparent now as we get married, your generosity, care, love, and endless support has been constant throughout my life. This wedding would not have happened without your help, and I couldn't have asked for better parents. Thank you for raising me in a Christian home and setting that example for me, and for your demonstration of what a happy and healthy marriage looks like. Thank you for taking me camping and giving me that love so I could pass it on to Simon. I have no way of thanking you enough or expressing how much you have impacted me over my life. But I am so grateful for the sacrifices that you have made. I have always been able to be confident that you are in my corner, ready to help me with anything in whatever way you can, and that alone is a gift I can never repay. I could go on for hours, but I don't have that much time. I love you so, so much, and I think that's all I can really say. And to Tim and Lisa, you two have been incredible supporters of Simon and I from the beginning of our relationship. Despite the long distance, you made it so clear that you were always thinking of us through your prayers, messages, and gifts. And for this wedding as well, most notably the rehearsal dinner and handcrafting each lantern here, you two have helped out so much despite being in another province.
And finally, we need to also thank every one of you for being here tonight with us. We have people today from Nova Scotia who have traveled from British Columbia and even North Carolina. And we want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today and for making us feel so loved and supported. We also need to thank Grandpa Bernie for officiating our ceremony today, and thank you for working with us to make today what we wanted. It was truly a blessing. So thank you again everyone who helped us get here. We feel so surrounded by love. Katrina and I are now going to do our first dance.